Good morning, dear children. Welcome back to this video session where we are discussing the chapter Agriculture. So, we have explained the meaning of agriculture and the various types of crops grown. Next, in this module, we'll discuss the different kinds of cultivation. So here in this slide we can see the different types of crops grown as well as the rearing of livestock. So in the first slide we can see have explained about the sericulture. Sericulture means it's a type of cultivation of silkworms. It's a rearing of silkworms. So children, I hope you would have saw the silk, isn't it? Yes, especially the silk sarees, silk materials. So children, from where we get this silk? Yes, this silk is extracted from the silkworms. By rearing the silkworms, we get more silk from this worms. And this cultivation is known as sericulture. The next one is viticulture. So what is that viticulture means? It's a cultivation of grapes. So here we can see in this slide, yes, more grape yards are here. And more grapes are also grown. The next one is horticulture. What is horticulture means? Yes, that is growing vegetables, flowers and fruits for the commercial purposes. It's not for the subsistence needs, it's for what? Commercial purposes. That is for business oriented one. It's not for our consumption, it is, yes, entirely for the sale. So that is horticulture. Then pisciculture. The last one is pisciculture. So what it means? Pisciculture means it is the breeding and the rearing for fish. Isn't it? We know that. Here we can see in these slides, yes, more fishes are rearing more fishes in the ponds, in the rivers, or yes, in our houses itself. So that is the cultivation of fishes are known as which culture? Pisciculture. So these are the different kinds of cultivation of crops as well as rearing livestock. Next one is the types of farming. The farming is practiced in various ways across the world depending upon the geographical conditions of the area, the demand for the products, the labor available and the level of technology. That means the farming is practiced in various ways across the world. It's not confined in our location or in our state or in our, yes, country. It is, yes, it has been spread across the world. Isn't it? And what all the conditions should be favorable for the cultivation of crops across the world? First of all, the geographical conditions of that area. Next one is demand for the products that we produce. The next one is the labor availability of the labor supply in that particular area. The next is the level of technology. Yes, which type of technology we can use in that area. According to that, we can produce more and more type of crops. So the climatic conditions should be favorable, as well as enough demand should be for our products, and the abundant labor supply should be there in that area. And the last one is which type of technology, whether it is labor intensive technology or capital intensive technology, which is more favorable for that area. We can use all these for the cultivation of more and more crops. So these are the various necessaries for the production of crops. The next is based on these factors, based on this availability of these factors, this can be broadly classified into two categories. Which are they? Namely, subsistence farming and the commercial farming. And it can be further classified into, these are the main classifications, which are the subsistence farming and commercial farming. And again, this subsistence farming can be classified into intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence. Which are they? Intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence. And there comes the shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. So under subsistence farming, we can study this shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. And the next type of farming is commercial farming. So these are the two types of farming: subsistence farming and commercial farming. Next, we'll discuss about the subsistence farming. So children, have you ever heard this word subsistence means? What is that? Subsistence means it is the farming practiced to meet the needs of the farmer's family. That means it is not business oriented one. Whatever is produced, it is only for the mere consumption of the whom? The farmers and their family. That is actually what is subsistence farming means. And low level of technology and household labor are used to produce a small output. So children, as it is not a business oriented one, lump sum amount of crops are not needed to produce. So there only we are using the low level of technology, and more laborers are used to produce this output. Understood? So that is actually what is subsistence farming means. Then again, subsistence farming can be classified into intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence. So this is actually what is subsistence farming means. And next, we'll discuss about the shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation comes under this. And what is the shifting cultivation means? It is actually practiced in the thickly forested areas of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, and parts of Southeast Asia and Northeast India. And it receives heavy rainfall, and this helps in the quick regeneration of vegetation. So that is what is shifting cultivation means. So where it is practiced? It is in the thickly forested areas. And actually In these areas, it receives heavy rainfall, and this rainfall helps in the quick regeneration of vegetation. That means, yes, more and more types of crops we can cultivate in that areas. And how this shifting cultivation is done? That is, at first what they do means, a plot of land, they will just find out a plot of land and they will clear the land by felling the trees and burning them. And the next is the left ashes, they will just mix with that soil, and the crops like maize, yam, potatoes and cassava are grown. Understood? So after this burning, what all the left ashes in that plot, they will just mix all these with the soil and they will just grow all other crops. And after the soil loses its fertility, the land is abandoned and the cultivator moves to a new plot. So what happens? Yes, still they will sustain in that land. When this soil loses its fertility, they will just abandon that. They will just give up the cultivating in that land and they will, yes, search the new plot of land for the cultivation. So they will sustain in that land till the fertility exists in that soil. And it is also known as slash and burn agriculture. And it usually starts with cutting trees and a fire which clears a spot for crop production. And in this case, shifting cultivation is a cycle where farmers come back to the original place after a couple of years. So they will just move from one place to another in search of, yes, new lands, but after few years they will come back to their original place. So children, this is what is actually shifting cultivation means. So children, I hope this explanation related to this is precise for you. So thank you children for watching this video.